Yeah, bye. All right, XOXO. Got a girl. Audra at Home is filmed in front of a live Pitbull audience. Good morrow and merry meet. My name is Audra and you are in for a treat. All right, welcome and or welcome back to my channel. Today is gonna be a fun video. I'm already in a taboo situation because I am wearing my own merch, but this makes sense for the video. Mistakes were in fact made. I know you're not supposed to wear your own merch. I make merch for me. If you buy it, great, but if you don't, I made it for me and I get a little discount on my own shit, so let me have fun. All right, so today I'm going to be doing look number 1 with the Nomad Paradise Islands palette. I did want to go ahead and show you, it has the tissue in here to protect, and I did want to go ahead and show y'all. This is what she looks like on the inside. We're gonna let the light settle. There we go. Now we are getting truer to form. This is an 18 shade palette. I'm gonna go ahead and play with it today, and this video is gonna be short and sweet. I'm hoping to keep it 20-ish minutes because we're just doing the eyes in this video. We're just doing the eyes, you know? I lied. It's long. Get over it. I'm trying to like get my face together right quick because I want to hop on Twitch because I want to show everybody like the cool shit that I have done with my little island, my little dominion on Evil Genius. It's mwah. So anywho's this video was inspired by 2 things and 2 people, Abby Williamson and Emily Han. So here's what happened. I was watching, I don't remember what video it was that Abby Williamson was on, but she was talking about the Savage X Fenty thing and the VIP situation. And then Emily was talking about Fabletics. And then that made me think about Shoedazzle, in which many mistakes were made on my part. Now, this is gonna be like a little brief history of the Shoedazzle situation, and I'm gonna start doing my eyes, so I'm gonna bring you in a little bit closer, if you don't mind. And if you do, you know, click out of the video, I guess. Don't be looking at me then. So one of the reasons it's taken me so long to even like film with makeup and new makeup is because I had to wash a shitload of brushes. No cap. Like this, 1, 2, 3, like I'm on a mission. I'm trying to wash all my brushes because holy shit, the move, all that. Anyways, Shoedazzle, Audra, what? We're gonna talk about the history of Shoedazzle and, you know, all the things, however the hell I want to, whatever I want to. I'm gonna kind of do this funky little look. We're gonna live our best lives. All right, here we go. So Shoedazzle was founded in 2009, and I don't feel like a lot of people know that it was founded by, one of the founders was Kim Kardashian. Yeah, that's right.
I have the best advice for women in business. Get your fucking ass up and work.
That Kim Kardashian. But it was founded in 2009, and I feel like a lot of people don't remember this time, or you weren't there for it. But this time in fashion, like stilettos were the shoe, babes. You needed to be wearing stilettos, but the problem was they were very, very expensive. It was hard to find inexpensive stilettos that were like cute. Do you know what I mean? Like you could find them, but they were ugly and they looked cheap and they felt cheap and they sounded cheap. And if you know what I mean when I'm talking about sounded cheap, like that, like, you know what I'm talking about? That sound that plastic shoes make when they're super cheap. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So anyhow, Kim Kardashian comes along and they found, and she has like 2 other partners whose names I don't remember and I don't care about. You know why? Because they're not Kim Kardashian. So anyways, this comes along and it's this cool shoe service in which you are able to, for the low price of, I feel like it started at $35.99 and then moved to $39.99, but it could have always been $39.99. We'll put that somewhere, or editing me will let you know. Because most of this is off of the top of my head. Don't ask questions about what's in here, okay? I don't know why my brain is like this. Let's not talk about it. Anyway, The thing about Shoedazzle that made it absolutely fantastic for loads of us is that we could finally afford fantastic, super fun stilettos, and they weren't gonna break our bank. And this again was the age where like you were quite literally wearing stilettos that were like 4 or 5 inches, sometimes 6 inches. We were getting out of hand. It was a whole thing. You wore stilettos with sweatpants, you wore stilettos with shorts, you wore stilettos with jeans. It wasn't just like a fancy outing situation. It was like you just wore stilettos all the time, like for whatever reason. Like that's just the way it was. Like you just wore stilettos. And when this came out, the cool thing about it was that you paid $40 and you could pick out, you know, a pair of shoes, and then you were signed up and enrolled in the VIP program. Now this is going to come into play in discussing a few other things as we go along, but you were enrolled in the VIP program. And listen, I know marketing is a cruel mistress and none of us are immune to it. We like to think that we are, but seriously, the second somebody puts VIP in something, I feel like a lot of us lose our minds because it evokes memories or like feelings of like getting past the velvet rope, you know, and that like hoppin' club. Yeah, that's right, I said hoppin' because I'm elderly. Anyway, it just evokes these feelings of being important and special and, you know, like you deserve fancy, fantastic things. You know what I mean? You're sitting there being like, I'm a fancy bitch, right? Because you have the fucking, you know, shoes and you're the VIP program. And the fabulous thing about this VIP program is that the way it works is, I don't know that I'm loving that, but we're gonna just soldier the fuck on and make this happen. I kind of wish that this was not a shimmer and that it was an actual shade, but moving on. But the whole thing was that I have an idea to fix this. So anyways, but the point was that you signed up, you had your credit card on file, and for $40 you would also receive a monthly curated selection based off of the quiz that you took. And so you take this quiz and you talk about like how you wear shoes, where you wear shoes to, like your preference for heel height. And like at this point in time, I will tell you, in the 2009 era, because I had been a member of, that's how fucking long I've been a member of Shoedazzle. I don't want to talk about it in too much detail right now because it's slightly embarrassing. But yes, I was a member for pretty much since its inception. And so the thing was, as long as you were a VIP, they would curate a little selection for you after you completed your little quiz, and then they would give you shoes. Now, like I was saying previously before I forgot what I was talking about because ADHD is a bitch, at the time, there really wasn't like a lot in the way of flats or like shorter shoes. You were just kind of fucked. It was like, literally, it was just like, so you want 5 inches or 5 inches? Do you want 5-inch heels or do you want 5-inch heels? So, but on top of that, the thing was, the caveat here was that you had to remember by the 5th of every month, every single one, you had to remember and have the sense to, if you didn't like anything that they chose for you and you weren't interested in picking up any shoes this month, you had to remember to cancel. I need to go find my glitter glue because I'm gonna do whatever the fuck it is I do to my face. And so the idea was, if you, by the 5th of the month, didn't find anything that you liked, then you would just say,
skip the month.
And you wouldn't be charged, you'd still be VIP, and you could still buy shoes throughout the month. Like, it wasn't like if you skipped the month, that was the end for you. You know what I mean? It was like skip the month, and then you could still partake if you decided a few days later or whatever, you still got your VIP pricing, because apparently without the VIP pricing, somehow these shoes were like $10 more. I don't know how. They were still cheap shoes, but here we are, right? And at first it seems great because it seems like super easy, right? Like the 5th of every month, you just be like, I don't want it. Here's the problem that starts to come in and why this is, I'm not gonna call it a straight up predatory, but it's close to why it's like a horrible system. So the reason I'm talking about this and why I got reminded of it through Abby Williamson talking about Savage X Fenty and Emily talking about Fabletics, is that Shoedazzle was the originator of that whole movement, the whole movement of the subscription service, right? You wouldn't have these like VIP programs if it weren't for Shoedazzle. I shit you not. I know you're looking at me like, bitch, what? Yeah, I'm dead ass. So the thing is, what these services did and why they're so predatory is because they count on and depend on you forgetting to skip the month. And as the service moves along, and as it, this just really wasn't the color I thought it was gonna be, and I'm kind of annoyed by that, so we're gonna have to fix this. Maybe not, never mind, it looks better than I thought. We'll see. Anyways, the thing is, what made this service so fun and fantastic was that, like, for a lot of us, it was hard to invest in shoes, and when Shoedazzle showed up, they really gave the girls, gays, and the theys like an affordable option for fabulous shoes. And the issue comes is that, like, once you had like the amount of shoes you wanted, like let's say you just needed 3 or 4 pairs, you were good, right? And you just kept skipping the month and skipping the month, and skipping the month, skipping the month, skipping the month. And it felt like you were like, okay, well, I think I want to cancel now. Like, I'm good. I'm over it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I'm about to make mistakes. Anyways, yeah, I knew I should have done that first. Anyways. But as you move along, you start being like, yeah, I'm kind of not into this. Like, I don't love my curated selection every month. I really don't need shoes every single month. Like, you start thinking about it, you're like, I just don't need them. And also, not only do I not need them, I just don't want them. Like, that was the other thing, is I started to realize, like, I just don't really want shoes every fucking month. Like, that seems like a lot. And the thing is, if you forgot, you were charged. But the good news was, never fear, they would charge you, but those credits did not disappear. So that was like the big bit, oh, for fuck's sake, it's my mom, please hold. But yeah, like I was saying, it's not like you needed or wanted shoes at that frequency. Just FYI, there's a whole fucking storm brewing. So like that's the situation here. You didn't need or want that many shoes, and so having to like skip the month every month began to get tedious. And I think, as I was saying before I forgot what I was talking about because my mom called, is that the good thing was that they did not like smash you and take your money. Like, if you, I mean, they took your money, but if you forgot, you know, and then they charged you, it was just like, okay, well, good news, because even though they charged you, you got to keep those credits. Those credits stayed with you. You didn't lose the money. Like, at any point in time, you could use those credits and you could buy a pair of shoes. Now, like, granted, you got to keep your credits, but it wasn't long before you began to realize that, like, you would have all these credits and then they would have a sale and you were like, sweet, I will just use, you know, the 4 credits that I have, which for math's sakes, if you're kind of rounding up and saying it's approximately $40 and you have 4 credits, 160 bucks is just sitting there. That's $160. It's just sitting there that you can't use. Yes, you are hearing the storm begin its party. And it's not like you could just like cash it out and be like, just give me my fucking money back. No, you had to use it in the store. And eventually, you know, Shoedazzle goes from just like having the stilettos to having flats, having all types of shoes, which is very fun, very exciting. You know, they have flats, they have boots, they have fucking bags. Like, they even have sweatpants now. And I know because I swear I have a pair of them somewhere in my home currently. But they have all this shit. So you're like getting way beyond, you know, it's original, and it's since been bought by Just Fab. So that's a thing. Anyway, the real point that I'm trying to get to here is that eventually you have all these credits and you're like wanting to do things like, oh, there's a sale. Here we are, back on point. You're like, oh, there's a sale. I will just use my credits at the sale. Guess what, honey? You cannot. You cannot use your credits at the sale. Such a fucking bummer. Such a fucking bummer. This isn't doing exactly what I wanted, but we'll see. Because if you chose to use your credits, you could only use them and buy the items at their full price, or the VIP pricing. You couldn't actually, so if they were doing like 2 pairs of sandals for $30 or all sandals are $15, right? you couldn't just use that $160 that you had of credits and be like, yeah, sweet, I will just like use these here and that'll be rock and roll Jesus. No, incorrect. It will not be rock and roll Jesus. What it's gonna be is the devil's gambit at this point, because you couldn't use it. You could either buy them at the sale price. Holy shit, this storm is going the fuck off. This is exciting. But you could either buy them at the sale price, which I guess, maybe, or you could use those credits and just buy them at the VIP price. And the issue was that it just didn't make sense, because you're like, okay, but like they're only worth, these shoes are worth $15 apparently right now, but you're telling me that I can't use my credits. You could not. So this starts making things worse. Like, you're trying to get out of it, but you did want to take advantage of the sale. So what do? You fucking take advantage of the sale. Because like, why, you're like, yeah, these shoes are definitely not, I'm not gonna pay like that much money. Cause like, even though it's like technically credits, it's still technically your actual money. You know what I mean? It is still technically money that you spent, and you really don't want to use those credits on shoes that you know are fucking $15.
No, because the way they had you buy the short and curlies, like when I think about this, like I get it. You seem stupid, right? Or I seem stupid. And if you partook in this, you're also like, I'm stupid. Why didn't I just use the credits? But it's like, I knew that they were only $15, so I spent money. And then the credits were still sitting there. Like, oh my God. Like, it's this weird psychological game that they're playing with you. Like, psychological fucking warfare. And they won.
So then you come up out of pocket, you buy this shit for $15, suckiness, and then you're like, okay, well, maybe I'll just get some shoes some other time. In the meantime, you're still racking up credits because you consistently forget. And here's the best part. The thing that Abby was talking about, this happens with almost all of these. You can sign up for all of these services online. Super easy. But baby, don't try to cancel, okay? You can't just cancel online. There's not just a spot for you to be like, yes, I would like to cancel. They all force you to call them. Every last one of these services makes you call them. Period. We are gonna do a little concealer because I don't want to look like a complete monster on my live stream, so like, that's a thing. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna use that as a mirror right quick because that palette is large and I don't feel like holding it again right now. And so like, that's where the issue really starts to come in, is that you can't actually fucking cancel. Because like, every time you go to cancel, you have to call, and conveniently, what are their hours? Oh, the same as yours. They have the exact same hours as your working hours. So like, even just trying to like step out on a lunch break, which everybody's gonna be trying to step out on a lunch break to cancel. You can't get a human being on fast enough. And then you're just sitting there like waiting, and you forget, and in the time, because if your mind is like my mind, you're literally over here like, oh, I thought I canceled it. And meanwhile, you're still racking up fucking credits. And you're just like beside yourself. Like, at some point you just sit there and like, you feel a little depressed.
Guess I better put these away since they're tungsten and insanely sharp.
Yeah. Should you even have those?
I shouldn't even have yarn.
A little like shocked by what's happening, because you're like, I have $200 in credits that, and it just keeps happening. And it seems like every time I spent a little bit, it was just like, it was too late. You know what I mean? I'd spend a little bit and like, or I'd get rid of one or two of them because I'd find a couple of things. But like, realistically speaking, like, I was just always in this like really shitty position where I could not seem to get out. It was like this merry-go-round of hell. And like, every time you should be like, yeah, I want the fuck out of this, you couldn't get a person on the line. And I just thought it was always so completely fucked up that when you were like, yeah, no, I want to like cancel, like it was so easy to sign up for these services, but canceling them is a whole other story. And it feels like you have to like donate a kidney, you have to go work for Amazon. Like, it's just like, that's what it felt like. Like, you have to donate a kidney, you have to work for Amazon, and you are also going to have to like hang out with Governor Greg Abbott. Ugh, woof. So like, it just felt like you had to do all of these things and it just seemed impossible. Now, ever since that inception and that model, everyone else has adopted that. That's why everybody's shit is like that. Because Shoedazzle, the whole reason I do call it marginally or somewhat predatory, again, I don't want to get sued, so we're just gonna like leave it there, is because they count on you forgetting to cancel by the 5th of the month. They count on it. And they also like would often move. Like, I'm not, listen, if anybody's had Shoedazzle like I did, please let me know. Because they would constantly move where the skip the month function was. Like, it would move around on the site. And so you would just be sitting there like, I think, but you weren't ever sure. And so you'd have to spend all this time trying to find it. And a lot of times if you were like me, you're at work trying to find this shit. So you're trying to be like real stealthy and fast, but you can't be stealthy and fast because you're on the work computer, which, but there you are, just like me. Work computer, trying not to get your ass in trouble. And then you'd have to like find that. And then they'd be asking you all these questions about why you were skipping the month. Or like, what's God? And I'm like, ugh. And they'd always like, you just be like, it's just not in my fucking budget this month. It's never actually my budget. I never wanted to be in this situation. Like, I can't cancel and I hate it. And if you want to know how long it's actually, because remember at the beginning of this, I told you, I said, yeah, Shoedazzle's been around since 2009, and I'm pretty sure I was a member of some form that entire time. So when did I finally cancel, you might ask? Well, fun fact, I canceled in 2020. That's right, folks. 2020 is when I was finally able to cancel my subscription. And I know you're just over there like, bitch, what? So 2019, yes, that's how long. It took a very long time. Cause again, it basically took me being unemployed to be able to get the fuck out of this shit. You know what I mean? Because it was the one time I had the availability to cancel it.
No, it would be like that. I mean, you hear about it, you hear people say it's bad, but you think, oh, those people probably have vaginas, but I don't have a vagina.
And I remember at one point, I switched to Just Fab, okay? And I know that you're asking yourself, well, Audra, when did you cancel Just Fab, baby? That was this year, 2022.
I swear to God, I won't do it again.
Please don't. Thanks for listening for once.
That being said, I swear to God, I will do it again.
It was very difficult, and that also took me not being at work. I went for my mother's birthday. We went on my mom's annual birthday trip, and that is when I was able to cancel my Just Fab. And even that was difficult because they were like, oh, you still have credits. And I was like, well, bitch, I ain't wasting this money. Let me spend it. So I spent all the credits on probably some of the ugliest but most comfortable shoes I have in my arsenal of shoes. This is a funky brow. Ooh, we're gonna have to hurry up before I don't have any more power. But I did spend all of the credits and I felt like a bad bitch for having done that. I was like, look at me, winning at life, and I was finally able to cancel. And I love that people, you know, I know people like to be like buyer beware and all of this stuff, but the thing is, they don't advertise that it's difficult to cancel, as I'm sure most services do not. But they really don't advertise the difficulty that you'd have to cancel because, you know, a lot of people probably wouldn't sign up if they knew that canceling meant having a phone conversation. And you know that they're really counting on people being unable to have those phone conversations because of when they keep their hours. Like, I for sure think that that's a purposeful thing. What starts as something fun and interesting, like you get excited about using said product. And the thing is, all of these things are cheap. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, the shoes were cheap, but they looked good. You looked fantastic in them. Nobody really knew, like, in, you know, among class lines, I guess, that you had bought these cheap shoes. It wasn't like, oh, you like, people were actually like, oh my gosh, these are cool, because we needed a market, you know, an entry in the market between like Payless and like DSW. Do you know what I mean? And It felt like Shoedazzle fit that bill, and it feels like that when you look at things like Savage X Fenty, when you look at Adore Me, you look at all of these services, Fabletics, but they all have the same predatory ass bullshit wherein they don't allow you to get out of the deal. You know, like you sign, like it feels like when you sign up for it, you're signing in blood, and it doesn't even feel like you actually have a choice to not do that. The fact that they are banking on the majority of people to forget to do their no thank you situation by whatever day of the month, I suspect they all have it between the 3rd and the 5th. But the fact that they're really expecting and banking on literally a lot of people to forget to do that, so that basically there's money out there that you can never get back. So it's like if you needed that $40 for something and you fucking forgot, as we do, we're human beings, you know, now they have your $40 and you can't get the $40 refunded. You know what I mean? You can't contact them and be like, hey, listen, mistakes were made. Do you mind just like giving me back? Because their answer is, first of all, it's gonna be no. And yes, they do mind. They are not gonna give you back shit. The other is that even when you do finally get a person on the line, it's actually not super easy to cancel, okay? These people will not let you go. They're holding on like just demons, like demons. They will not allow you to just leave. Oh no, babes. They're gonna like offer you all of these things. They're gonna ask you 12 times why you're quitting. They're gonna be like, what if we do this? What if we do that? And of course, you just want to leave now. Like at this point, you're like, I just want to go. I'm doing a blush tour because I'm like, I've really been into using blush as my contour ever since I saw that RuPaul deal. I'm using the wrong brush and possibly the wrong blush, but we're just gonna keep going with this weird party that I have going on here. I feel like I'm looking a little bit like an alien and I'm kind of living for it. Anyways, you're losing money, you're spending money to stop losing money. You can never use this money on their sales. Like you can never use your credits on their sales. It just seems, it doesn't seem, it is predatory, it is awful, and it's terrible for a lot of people because they cannot escape it. Once you're in this like weird boat with them, you are stuck and it feels like you can't get out. So my advice, if you are in these situations, if you're able to take a day off work to call Shoedazzle, Fabletics, Fenty, any one of these companies, first thing when they open, do that. But before you do that, spend all your fucking credits. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as you sort of somewhat can enjoy it for whatever purpose that you think you might be able to somewhat sort of enjoy it for, buy that. Doesn't matter. Just get it, you know? Listen, when this video is over, I'm gonna show you what I'm talking about. Anyways, I said all of that and told you this long, convoluted story about why they suck, basically to explain why I have so many pairs of these. I have 2 of them in black and 2 of them are in this color. Why? Why the fuck not, right? They're fuzzy, they're comfortable-ish, and now I am free from both Just Fab and Shoedazzle. The moral of the story is don't get involved in these VIP things. I know it seems very tempting. I know it seems like, oh, maybe I could. No, you can't. You can't. They're not gonna let you get away with it. It is gonna take your lifetime, for me, 10 years. 10 years, more than 10 years, to escape the clutches of these very, what I would say, allegedly predatory companies. All right, y'all, that is it. I got to go. Look might be up on Instagram. This got a little wild, a little bit exciting, kind of dig it. All right, if you enjoyed this video, please do me a favor. Give this video a big thumbs up so then that way the algorithm goddess can do what she does best, which is push me further down into the algorithm so that I can continue to do what? Whatever the fuck I want to. Consider joining my Patreon if you would. Join me over on Twitch. You do not have to like pay for anything on Twitch. You could just show up if you would like to. All of the ways in which you can find me are listed in the description box below. As usual, huge shout out to my patrons and spooky bays. Yeah, without which I truly would not be able to keep the bats in the belfry and the spiders firmly ensconced in their webs and not in my nose, like happened yesterday, where I shot a live spider out of my nostril. To all of you who watch, like, share, and subscribe, I appreciate you as well. And remember, it costs $0 to be kind, and it's so good for your soul, because if you don't take care of it, I'm sure shit coming for yours. Sorry, sir, who are you? Until next time, XOXO. Gothic girl. Bo, get down. I know you don't like... All right, that'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Fucking love, babe. Hi, Mom. Yes, it was the siren that went off.
I didn't hear it. I was just calling to see if you're home.
I am sweating. I'm mad about it, too. And I am the one who put this fucking sweater on. Yeah, I'm home.
Okay. That's all I needed. I'm gonna make sure you're safe. Love you.
I love you too, Mom.
Bye.
All right, bye. But I wanted to wear a sweatshirt and shorts because I wanted to wear the outfit of the wealthy. And a sweatshirt and shorts. That's what shows everybody that you have money. The store, but you can't be putting your paws on me like that.